Hello, Mr. Pankaj Gupta. You are conducting introductory workshop for the Pankaj method, which are both new topic for many people.
That's right. The introductory workshop is a new thing because the last time I conducted one in Singapore was in April 2014. So it's been over 5 years. And the Pankaj method is also something people haven't heard about a lot because while it is practiced around the world, I hardly ever advertise because it is so effective that word has spread just by word of mouth. And that also means there are a lot of people who still don't know about it, which is why I'm having the talk.
What is this the Pankaj method about?
The Pankaj method teaches you how to keep yourself healthy without diets, without exercise, or without medicines. Because the body has a very strong healing response. Your body can really heal just about anything, and we just don't know it. And that's something that I've studied as an engineer for many years. And I've used ancient and modern techniques to come up with a very comprehensive and an extremely simple method to keep yourself healthy. The most powerful part of the Pankaj method is that it can heal your emotional pain. It can heal your mental stress. There is no medicine for emotional pain. If you have a backache, you can have a painkiller. But what do you do if you're hurt? What do you do if your stress is so bad you can't sleep?
Just now you mentioned that you are an engineer.
That's right.
So how do you begin your journey?
Well, that's a very good question because I'm not just an engineer. I would even say I'm a born engineer because I was born into a family of engineers. My grandfather is an engineer, my father, my uncles, and even my uncles who are not engineers are doing engineering work. So it's a good question. How I went from an industrial and engineering background into healing, and the answer is that my own healing journey began when I was very young, and it began with my own pain since I was about 9 or 10 years old. One of the first things I remember about my childhood is that my right knee started giving me trouble. It began to hurt. When I was about 13 years old, I even missed more than a month of school because of my right knee. And my parents took me to many kinds of specialists and doctors, but no one could even tell me what was wrong with my knee, forget about a cure. But I was a child, I learned to live with it. The other significant part of my pain journey was around the same time when I was 10 or 11 years old, my migraines started. Back then, they used to last me half a day. By the time I finished engineering, they would last 4 days, twice a month. By the time I was in my mid-20s, 5 days, twice a month. They were only getting worse, and medicine was not helping. Doctors were not helping. I'd been going to doctors practically every week since I was a child, but it only helped a little bit, with some coughs or a little bit of fever, but not with my aches and pains. I was very active in college, and that also came with a share of injuries, and so the pain in my body increased. Since I was in college, and for many years after that, it would take me hours to fall asleep every night because no matter which position I lay down in, something hurt. My shoulder hurt, or my knee hurt, or my lower back hurt, or my head hurt. And by the time I would fall asleep, it would be early morning. So you can imagine how fresh I was for the rest of the day. So by the time I was in my mid-20s, I was really desperate for help. I felt like I was in my mid-80s because of the kind of aches and pains I had, because of the amount of medicine I'd been having for a long time. You may have experienced yourself that when you're really ready, help appears. So I was really ready, and my teachers and healers began to appear. And one of the first things I learned was a technique which was developed in the early 90s called EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, which has become popularly known as tapping. And with tapping, my right knee, which at that point in time had hurt continuously for 16 years, the pain disappeared in 3 minutes. Okay, 80% of my pain disappeared in 3 minutes, and in a few weeks after that, most of my pain was gone. It's been 20 years since then, that pain hasn't come back. That 3-minute session changed my life because I understood that we can all heal, that healing was within me. My whole life I'd run around looking for a solution. I went to doctors and healers and all kinds of people, but the solution was within me. And with that healing also came an equally strong passion to tell people you don't have to suffer, no matter what. You don't have to suffer. See, most of our suffering is not because of physical pain. Most of our suffering is because we cannot control our happiness. Because somebody says something and we feel hurt, or we are worried about things, or we are afraid, or we don't have confidence. There's so many of those other things which are really very, very painful, for which there is no medicine. And that's the medicine I discovered. So as soon as I discovered tapping and I understood about energy and energy healing, with an engineering mind, I began to study it. I still study it. And with ancient techniques and modern techniques, with diagnostic methods, I came up with a very simple and comprehensive healing program called the Pankaj Method. The Pankaj Method is very simple. You don't have to practice it every day. If you attend a workshop where I teach you the Pankaj Method, you have awareness which tells you how you subconsciously create pain. Pain is created. You may feel somebody else gives you the pain, but pain is actually created within you. And without suppressing that pain, you'll be able to prevent pain. There's no point healing pain if you still keep creating it, right? So if you want a permanent result, you have to prevent it. The Pankaj Method teaches you where your pain is coming from, and it's different for different people. And once you're aware of that, you can stop creating it. And if you create it, because you are in that habit of creating it unconsciously, then the technique teaches you how to get rid of it within minutes. The immediate benefit is you have much more energy. Isn't that what you want? Isn't that what everyone wants?
Yes,
Isn't it
everyone.